Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for another brand new video. Today's video is all about European football as we look to make a real statement in this year's group stage. But before we go any further on with today's video, speaking of statements, as always, in case you enjoy the content and you enjoy the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's free, doesn't cost you a penny, and it just helps us on our way to hopefully one day reaching 55k. But to business then, shall we? And starting off with the old oppositional preview, we face the Polish side Lech Poznan, who, it has to be said, hasn't started this season well at all. I mean, if you watch these preview videos a lot, especially if you watch the European previews, how many times over the last couple of seasons have I sat here and said to you, the team we're facing tomorrow are slicing teams open left, right and centre. They're unbeaten so far this season. We've already done that a couple of times already this season actually, but looking into this team, it's the exact opposite. And that's so weird to sit here and say the more in Europe we will be facing a side that is massively underachieving, that is currently sitting 10th in their league with only 2 wins, 3 draws and 2 losses in 7 games. Speaking of their losses, by the way, they have actually went ahead and lost 2 of the last 3 games coming into this game versus Rangers. Now granted, one of those losses was actually down to Benfica in a game that was absolutely bonkers to watch, and it was probably their best attacking performance of the season, but they couldn't even build on that after having that positive attacking performance versus Benfica, because their next game, literally their most recent game coming into this game, was a 1-1 draw versus a team sitting 13th in the league, and even that draw was due to an 85th minute equaliser from Lech Poznan. So it's baffling what's happening right now with them, because the team we are facing tomorrow is a very, very good footballing side. I mean, this is the team that finished second in the Polish league when it all said and done. They do have good attacking players. Hell, they've got good defensive players, and they've got the majority of the same squad that has performed for them for many, many years. But for whatever reason, this season, it's all just kind of up in the air, and it's all over the place. And those couple of words I just said, they're all over the place, perfectly transitions me into the next talking point, as the former FA chief over in Poland has just ranted about this team after that performance versus Benfica, where they did get a lot of plaudits for their attacking side of the game. Now, they did go on to lose the game 4-2, but people saw positive and says, that's the Lech that we recognise, that's the Poznan team that we've seen over the years. Well, this guy's just not agreed with that at all, because this is what he's said about the team we face tomorrow. Is Polish football so bad that we celebrate defeats now? The Lech Poznan defence was full of holes, and Benfica didn't even have to break a sweat to win, really. But what really annoyed me was the post-match comments. Is losing 4 goals at home in European football something to be proud of? Is this how far Polish football has sunk? End quote. That right there previews this team better than I ever could in this video. That's coming from one of their own, and they're really, really not happy about what they're seeing this season. But, and unfortunately there is a but coming in today's video, despite the fact that they are struggling and their defence is truly, truly bogging right now. The majority of the players that's been there and done things for them in the past is still there. They still have a good group of players that, yes, is completely underachieving right now, but they are capable of turning it around and being a very, very dangerous team. And that's the team I'm expecting to see tomorrow. I'm not expecting to see the team that's limping about the league, barely being able to get out of first gear and cause any problems. I'm expecting to see the attacking flair that they showed in parts versus Benfica, because despite what that man kind of ranted and said, that was them looking back to their best going forward. And with everything that's been said after their most recent draw versus a poor team in Polish football, I'm sure they'll be scratching tooth and nail to get out in that park and silence their critics. Now granted that hopefully they didn't silence their critics and they come out here and limp another third of a performance on the park. That would be absolutely grand to me, but I'm expecting to see the best of Lech coming into this game tomorrow, because they are a good side and they're just waiting for that performance to switch and get them back to their best. I'm just hoping the switch isn't working tomorrow versus Rangers. But the last thing I want to say about Lech Poznan before we wrap up their side of things is, how did they set up? How did they play? Well, they sort of stick to a 4-4-1-1 formation, which is pretty much a 4-4-2 when they attack, but a 4-5-1 when they're defending, which I think is going to be very, very interesting to see how they actually line up and who's picking up people, given how we play and how we go forward. With us being at home, I'm expecting us to dominate the ball and really pin them back, and that's something that they're not really used to, especially this season with the gaps. But that 5 across the middle, I'm expecting to see a lot of running for them, and it's going to be interesting to see how Kent, Aribo, Hagi manages to find space within that. Now, unlike the last preview video where we broke down everything before the standard game, saying how they were going to play out wide with their blistering pace, they're going to get forward and whip balls, and that's where the game's going to be won and lost. That's not the case with Lech Poznan, and maybe that's down to the fact that they've not really got an identity right now, because it seems to be kind of all scattered all over the place, but they're majoritively attacking down the centre of the park, playing off their striker and just firing shots for anywhere and everywhere. So I think Ryan Jack, if he's going to be in, and whoever's going to be at the left centre mid, maybe Glenn Kamara for the pace, I feel like they're going to be very, very busy because of the shot happiness that this team actually has. So Jacko and Kamara, I'm expecting a big performance if they're selected. And with that being said, that is the oppositional preview wrapped up in a neat little bow. Are they a good side? Yes. Are they massively underachieving? Yes, people. So it's going to be interesting to see which side we actually see them more, or which side Rangers allow them to be, which I think is going to be more of the case, if I'm honest. And that right there actually leads me perfectly into the Rangers side of today's video, because I think a lot of this has to go into these games now, because we are in the Europa League group stages, and it's got to the stage of us performing so well in Europe. We didn't think about, oh, what's the opposition going to force Rangers to play like? I think it's the opposite now, and I think we're well within our rights to look at that. I mean, look at our European record under Gerrard himself. So I think if we approach the game the right way, which I think we will do, and really go after this wounded animal of a team, we could put this game to bed pretty quickly, which I'd love for these grey hairs, but you know my luck, it's never ever going to be that. Another 96-minute winner or something like that. But I want to talk about the Rangers team for a wee brief moment, because you look at it from goalkeeper to a striker, the quality is there, but the big thing this season is it's not just sort of 1 to 11 that the quality is there, it's beyond that now. The strength and depth at Rangers is actually getting ridiculous. Like, I don't know if I'm living in the moment or something, but I'm looking at our overall squad now, the 11, the bench, and even a couple of players that's not making the bench, and I'm saying this is the strongest overall squad we've had in donkey's years. And that right there is where I want to actually start, because you may or may not have seen we just got a hell of a lot stronger in the middle of the park, as Zungu is now available for selection and to get involved in training. His quarantining is over and he's ready to go, which has led a lot of people today and this morning to firing questions saying, do you think Zungu will be a part of the game tomorrow, CJ? Do you think there's any chance he'll start, or is it going to be a bench role? And I think the latter there is going to be the case, because he had one training session today and Gerrard confirmed he's going to feel that the more, because they really worked him. So I think it may possibly be a part of the bench this way if he was included in the squad, but I wouldn't be surprised not to see him at all, and that's despite the fact he's obviously included in the European squad list. But I don't think we'll see him right away. It's because I think it's very similar to the Kamar Roof situation. He's came to this football club not having a lot of games and a lot of minutes under his legs, and I think they'll try and build him up and work him up that way. So don't be disappointed if you see him a part of the squad tomorrow and you don't see him. Come on. But in saying that, they have included them in the European squad over the likes of Jermaine Defoe and Jordan Jones, so they must expect him to get adapted very quickly and be ready to be involved, or they wouldn't have wasted that European spot on him. So it's going to be very interesting to see the midfield situation, how that involves over the next couple of weeks. Which also reminds me, by the way, a lot of people have been saying, is this guy a part of the squad? Is this guy a part of the group stages? And can this guy actually play? So let's address that very quickly. This is the players that can play in the Europa League group stages for Rangers. You've got McGregor, McLaughlin, Tavernier, Goldson, Hollander, Balogun, Bassey, Barisic, Jack, Hagi, Davis, Kent, Zungu, Aribo, Arfield, Kamara, Stewart, Itten, Barker, Morelos, and Kamar Roof. That's it. Hopefully that helps you with your predictions in about 3 minutes. But speaking of the players, by the way, finishing up with some latest team news, we have some more good news. Barisic, who obviously missed the game at the weekend but was a part of the bench, is apparently ready for the game tomorrow if needed. Again, Gerrard does never tell us yes or no, but Barisic is thankfully not struggling with anything and he's available for selection if he is required. Joe Aribo came through the game with flying colours versus Livingston. Not a problem, not an issue, so we can officially take him off the worry list and we can all start breathing a little bit easier as Aribo joins this incredible midfield that we actually have. The only long-term injury that we have at the football club, people, is obviously Katic, which we all know and we hope we see him soon. And with that being said, that's us pretty much done and dusted with the old preview. We've looked at the opposition, we've discussed a couple of Rangers things, and we've discussed the latest Rangers team news. And all that's left now is for me and if you're still watching today's video, that is, by the way, is to get involved down there in the comment section below and let me know your predictions for the game. Now, I got the predictions absolutely spot on for the last game versus Livingston, so I'm a wee bit nervous now, but I'm going to try and go for it again. And while you guys get your thoughts and opinions out in the game, now you know the Europa League squad, I'll give you mine very, very briefly. I'm keeping the train going, people. That's right, I'm going for it again. Rangers 2, the opposition 0. My goal scorers, Alfredo Morelos. I think it's time. I think the record and all the stuff and all the questions being asked of him, I think it goes the Mora at Ibrox versus a team that is wounded defensively. I think Al Buffalo could feast on that back line. Sorry about that, the camera cut out. I've been talking that long. But my second goal scorer is going to be none other than the big centre-half from a set-piece, big Connor Goldson. That is what I'm expecting from this game of football, and then a professional-esque performance as we see the game out. That would be lovely. We've got an interesting test at the weekend, so as long as we come through, get the job done, keep everyone fit, I'll be a very, very happy guy. And speaking of happy guy, all I need to do now is thank you so much for watching today's video and taking that time out your day to sit and spend with me. Now, I'm just going to wrap up, so take care of yourselves. I'll see you in the morning. All the best, and bye-bye.